Oh, hello. Do you think that Big Brother is watching? Or that the Illuminati is planning to take over the world? Have you had an encounter with a space alien today? The answers to those questions is yes. Then grab your hat. This is tinfoil hat time. Greetings and welcome back to Tinfoil Hat Time. Yeah, the kitties were totally not cooperating today, and so I had to go use my little alien on a surfboard with a tinfoil hat. My little standard backup. Greetings everybody. This is more of an impromptu tinfoil hat time. I was originally planning on not doing one tonight, but turned out that the person I was busy with this evening had to go into work a little bit earlier than anticipated, and so hey, I had a little bit of time to put together a few little show notes and plan something here. So if nothing else, this will probably be a little bit different. It'll be a little bit more informal and maybe a little bit more personal in some respects. So welcome along everybody. And let's see, we got JJ Games first to the comment field. Greetings, sir, and good evening. Hello, Daniel. Planning on going on fire? I don't know. We'll just happen to see if the match lights up. Never know. Steven, greetings. How's it going? Shatter, hello. How are you today? Everyone having a good evening? Yes, I'm having a wonderful evening so far. Daniel just got home from work an hour ago. All right. Yes, little tiny alien. He from Pluto. I don't know, is he blue or green or what is he? I think I don't know if he's not blue. He's kind of like a greenish, grayish little guy. I don't remember where I got him. Some point in time. I think when I lived out west, I think I picked him up. But yeah, he sits up here on the shelf behind me. You probably never saw him because he's just too stinking small. For a size comparison. His hat keeps falling off, but there he is. He's a little tiny alien there. Alright, is he from Pluto? I am not quite certain where this particular alien is from. There's a few different alien races out there, and so I'm not sure which one this one falls into. He's not reptilian. He's more like New Mexican, really. Windows versus Linux. Well, I prefer Linux for most things. I still use a little bit of Windows here and there, but I try not to. Hat looks good. Thank you, TOS today. Yes, my hat does look good today. It's looking not too shabby. My light, studio light works great for my tinfoil hat times, but it's just too stinking close on the other live streams. I'm still working on getting my lighting better, but alright, good here. Thanks for asking. How am I doing on my side? I am doing grand. So, today there's no crazy articles, nothing else. I've been moving more and more towards materialism lately, keeping an eye on more consumer-related things, and maybe part of it is I'm actually walking an individual through Dave Ramsey's FPU class right now, just as an individual, and so we got talking into some of the things where one of the criticisms that I have of what the Dave Ramsey group is doing over the last, this started actually about 5 years ago. He really changed a lot of his format. He went from just doing a lot of pure radio show to, the full multimedia stuff, which is just fine. Then the challenge is he brought in all these other people who, in my opinion, don't really bring a lot to the table. I think it's just more personalities. And the scary thing is the way consumerism works. Let me show you something. So this is Dave Ramsey's Legacy Journey book, and this is the book that I had pre-ordered. I had pre-ordered the book. I got a free copy of the digital version of it, so I do have a DRM free copy of the digital, so I'm actually going to get rid of the paper-bound copy here, flip through it, make sure I don't have any notes. I'll probably give it to somebody in our FPU class or whatever. But notice what it says here above his name. #1 New York Times best-selling author. Okay, the thing is that he is so large, any book he will put his name on will instantly become a New York Times bestseller. It's just a major downfall of the current system. And so there's people on his team, even people that were on his team that are no longer on his team. They wrote books that were really not very good. Just, and I've read hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books on every subject out there. And one book I've read a lot on is business motivations, techniques, things like that. And so I've read a lot of these different books, and I've read good ones, and I've read bad ones. You got Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. Obviously, I did the Power Focus. We're doing First Things First on the Outdoor Philosophy soon. By the way, if you did not watch the Outdoor Philosophy from yesterday, watch that one. I see that some of the people here have actually commented on it, so I think several of you have actually seen it. But the thing is, that was just a culmination of so many things that I decided to write an essay and read it. And it was the absolute most well-received outdoor philosophy I've ever done. Thanks, everybody. It was just cool. I just had the idea to do it. And I am taking the advice of my patrons, and I'm actually going to go into the book. The patrons who actually pay me more money to do this stuff, they said, hey, we love the Tinfoil Hat Times because it's more off the cuff, and we like the Outdoor Philosophies following the books because that way we get the perspective of you off the cuff and we get the perspective of an author. So because, hey, the patrons actually help pay some of the bills around here, I am following their advice, and we are going to continue the Outdoor Philosophies doing books. So the next book I'm going to be doing is by Stephen Covey and Roger and something. Is it Merrill, maybe? I don't know. I don't remember. Stephen Covey's the primary author, and the book is called First Things First. It's about time management. So we're going to be going through that on our Outdoor Philosophies. I'm not sure if I'm going to do one chapter at a time, 2 chapters at a time. I'm not sure. But we're going to do back to that. But that Outdoor Philosophy from yesterday was really cool if you didn't see it. But I got into thinking about more of that kind of stuff and the types of things that went into that particular video. And as I moved into it and looked into that, I said, what is one of the challenges that I see with this new approach Ramsey does? And a lot of newer things that churches, and not just churches as much as parachurch groups, okay? So as I was, we just finished lesson 2 today in FPU, which is talking about, are you a nerd or a free spirit? And just some basic philosophy. Week 3 is when it really gets into that budgety stuff. And so we went through the course, and then of course near the end is, I think his daughter, Rachel Cruz, is doing her skit, and she start talking about, you got the envelope system here, we got the junior kit here and all this, and the kid that I'm walking through with this, he's a high school kid, he's like, this is crazy that if the entire objective is to get out of debt, why are they selling all these products that really in reality may or may not actually get you out of debt? And that is the exact same criticism I had for Crown Financial Ministries. Now, Dave Ramsey's stuff is not really his plan. He stole it all. Pretty much all of it. If you look back and look at Crown Financial Ministries, everything Dave Ramsey teaches was also taught by Crown Financial Ministries. Getting the starter emergency fund, paying off your debts lowest to highest, putting aside 15% of your income, all of those various elements were part of Crown Financial Ministries. So Crown Financial Ministries, I don't remember if I've ever really maybe I did support them at one point in time financially. I don't remember. But anyway, somehow they had my email address, and they sent out an email, and they're like, hey, let us know how we're doing as a ministry. Okay. And as a ministry, I emailed them back. I said, you have great things. It was like a big letter. It's like a letter. I said, you have a lot of great things. You teach people how to get out of debt. You teach people a lot of the challenges. You're addressing a real need. Said, but in true spirit of revelation, but this I have against you. This I have against you. I said, why are you pushing all of these products? And I'll tell you exactly why I have this. Let me look over here on my shelf. Okay, I have a book I'm going to go grab on my shelf. Okay, this is the only book I saw over there that I did for this particular reason. But I have a book here, and this is Physical Chemistry. If you have never taken Physical Chemistry, don't take it unless you have to. This is, I think, what is this, Chapter 1, Chapter 2? Here's like a page of text from Chapter 1 or Chapter 2. Okay, yeah, that is calculus. That is 0 to infinite limits. We are integrating in natural logarithms. And what is the purpose of all this? Oh, this is just to determine the kinetic theory of gases. That's physical chemistry, okay? Like, that's early in the book. Here's some later stuff. Here's a little bit of quantum mechanics for you, you know. Ooh, yeah. Okay, so I had to take PChem, and it's hard. Believe it or not, PChem's hard. In fact, this is one of those things that when I get extra time, I'm going to restudy this subject, because this is the only subject I think I've ever studied that I have not fully grasped at some point in time. Now, not to say that I fully grasp and fully know everything. We forget things over time. But this is one of those subjects that while I was studying it, I could not fully grasp it. And I'd love to go back through and fully grasp it this time. So, but we're using the book, and the book we're using was by Peter Atkins. And Peter Atkins has absolutely horrible textbooks. In fact, it was the 23rd reprinted with corrections, and we were still finding an error on every page. When you're talking about something advanced as PChem, you don't want errors on every page. It's complicated enough, thank you. So I go online, probably to Amazon, I think, and I bought this book, hoping that this book would help clarify the things that Peter Atkins' book was not being as clear on. Okay, and that's the challenge, is that as we are struggling with things as people, we have this emotional tinge to try and buy the next thing that promises to help. And if I'm struggling financially, the last thing I need to be doing is buying a lot of things that are promising to help. Do I need to buy an envelope system for $15? No, I can buy an entire box of envelopes for $1. I can write down what they are, and I can paperclip them together and keep them all there. So I do not need a $15 envelope system. And that's the kind of the criticism that I gave to Crown Financial Ministries at that time, was that you're doing a great job teaching, but it's like you're so wanting to make money that you're selling all of these other things that are really, in the scheme of things, not really necessary to the goal of helping somebody. Well, I've listened to Dave Ramsey for years. And a decade ago, if you listen to Dave Ramsey, it was completely different than if you listen to Dave Ramsey today. Okay, back then it was a whole lot of Dave Ramsey, a whole lot of teaching, and you'd hear every now and again about FPU, you'd hear every now and again about other things. It worked, it was great, he was a fast-growing business at that time. But with what he just put in, there are more commercials on the Dave Ramsey Show than there are Dave Ramsey on the Dave Ramsey Show. And so I don't really watch it anymore. I just stopped. Because the last thing I want and the last thing I need if I'm struggling with debts is to watch a show that has more marketing and more advertising to sell me more stuff than it is helping me get out. And where I haven't heard anything about Crown Financial Ministries in 10 years. And I'm thinking they probably still exist, but they're probably essentially dead. Dave Ramsey's jumped up in filled that position at that time. Now, at that time, 10 years ago, Dave Ramsey was absolutely, clearly a theologically sound Christian. But he didn't really teach a lot of that stuff. He redid his whole FPU to be not a secular group that seemed to be taught in more churches than other places, to an entire church-based group. And then I got to thinking, I had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of sermons. Actually, I still have them. I converted them all to digital, and then I'm getting rid of them. I'm slowly dropping them in the community libraries. I'm just dropping handfuls of sermons in the community libraries, and to my pleasant surprise, they're actually disappearing pretty quick. I'm not sure if that means they're getting taken out and thrown away, or if they're getting taken out and used, but, I'm sending out God's Word, and let God's Word go where it goes. He's in charge of that, not me. I figured it would do a whole lot more good putting them in the community libraries than sitting on my shelf for another 10 years, like many of them have. And the challenges I got into is there's several of those that I've purchased as full DVDs or curriculum series. And so we have this entire industry, even around the churches, that crops up, Christian consumerism. So this is a small group study to help with this narrow range, and this is a small group study to help with this narrow range. And so we're just, even in the church, out of the church, in the world, everywhere, it's consumerism, consumerism, consumerism. And that's the problem where we're getting to, is to the point where we can't get out. Now, the funny observation that we said, as much as I'm kind of harping on Dave Ramsey a little bit here, his stuff is still way more biblically sound than a lot of the crap that you get. Like Lifeway, which produces most of the VBSs, most of the youth and child Sunday school curricula, all that stuff. Lifeway, their stuff is crap. It's just trash. Take it away, throw it away. It's crap. If you see Lifeway at the bottom of your VBS curriculum, it's crap. It's crap. It's all easy believism, blah, blah, blah. Well, pray a little prayer for Jesus, the ABCs, and that's all it takes. Yay, you got your fire insurance, and that ain't it. But we're not going to go off any more religiously on that. I realize there's people here that don't care about that kind of stuff. But anyway, whether we're in a church, whether we're in our youth groups, we're going off to study on our own, we're... turn on, now it's like Windows 10. Oh, God. Now you get to Windows 10, right? Turn up Windows 10, it's like, hey, we see you've intentionally uninstalled Candy Crush 35 times. We're going to tell you you should play Candy Crush. No, Microsoft, no. No, I've uninstalled it 35 times for a reason. Because I don't want to play it. I don't want it on my computer. It's like, oh, no, I do not want it on my computer. Stop putting it on my computer. Especially with that new abomination loosely called a start menu. It's an app menu. It's a piece of crap. You can't get rid of things. You can't hide it. You can't customize it. It's just crap. Now, yes, somebody did correct me. Yes, if you happen to be on Windows 10 and you really hate those things, you really need Windows 10, there are some PowerShell scripts you can run which will nuke the store. It will nuke the Metro apps. It will nuke all that stuff from coming back. It may nuke your start screen, by the way. There is a small chance that that script will actually mess up the ability to turn on the menu. So a lot of people had a problem, hit the start menu on Windows 10, and the start screen, whatever they're calling it these days, pops up. That would happen if you accidentally screw up that PowerShell. So yes, it is possible to remove all that crap from the Windows 10 interface, but it's way beyond the scope of, like in Linux, right-click the menu and customize. Check or uncheck the checkbox. Yay. And that's what I'm talking about. But Windows 10 now, it will start marking you in all the little places. How many times a little notification pop up? I'm here doing something, you got whatever, you got notifications on your computer, you're sitting here doing something, blah, 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 and then bing! Enable Cortana so she can spy on you. Be your assistant. Yeah. It's like a butler. Might even kill you. I don't know. Kind of crazy. I'm fighting for minimalism by trying not to buy a 17th keyboard. Don't do it, Thirsty Fox. Don't do it. Don't buy that 17th keyboard. 16's enough, man. Hey, N.I., how's it going there? Demiana, Windows 10, never heard of it. Good Sunday, everyone. Yeah, Windows 10, never heard of it. Yeah, lucky. Windows 10 pushed me to Linux. And so all around us, we have constant props to buy constant things, whether it's buy the new envelope system because it's going to help you organize your money, or buy the new church curriculum because it's going to help you overcome this spiritual thing. I got news for you. If you're like in this spiritual conundrum and you're like, I just don't understand spiritual whatever. I got news for you. If that's where you're at, another DVD curriculum is not going to help you. Another Bible study, another seminar with a cute little folder isn't going to help you. You know what's going to help you? Get into your Bible. That tells you the mind of God, and increase your prayer life. That tells you the heart of God. I'm sorry, I went back to that stuff again. Anyway. Keyboards. What if I sell one of my keyboards? Then can I buy? Yeah, if you sell 2 of your keyboards, then you can buy a new one. Yes, sell 2 of your keyboards. Bother you, Tom, but I can't stop looking behind you. Last frame is crooked. It is, isn't it? I think that's better. Not sure how that happened, but yeah, it was a little crooked there. And actually, my camera is slightly crooked while we're fixing stuff. There we go. I think that's a little bit better. Let me know if that's better. I'm not sure what happened there on that frame. I must have bumped it or something. All right, so I want to talk a little bit here on the minimalism. It does still look a little out of... let me know how that looks. Let me know how that looks. It looks all right. I'm looking at my monitor window here to see what you're seeing. I think that's a little bit better. Earthquake, better now. All right, cool. We'll stick with this. All right, so first I want to talk about my journey through this. You know, I've never been a massive hoarder of stuff. There's a few things that I've collected more of or less of over the years. But, you know, I went through a situation a few years back where I about lost everything, and that really made me question, why do I have all this stuff? And then I had this problem that I basically started, I had all this stuff. I'm in the middle of losing everything. It's like, you may as well lose everything in a town where you're more comfortable. So that's when I came back across the country. So now I have a storage garage full of stuff that I paid for 2 or 3 years. I think it was 2 years. I paid for this big storage garage full of stuff for 2 years. So I have half of my stuff is over here. Half of my stuff is in another state, like thousands of miles away. And I'm just like, what is the purpose of all this? So last year I went there and I literally I either donated it, threw it away, or threw it in the car. And last summer, I'm like, I'm not paying for the storage shed one more month. And so I just got rid of a lot. And the thing is as we live our life, we accumulate junk and trinkets and stuff like that. I mean, even look at the shelf behind me. Now, this room is absolutely the most cluttered room I have. This room here, it doesn't actually look all that cluttered, but you can kind of see it seems a lot more lived in. The rest of my house is mostly empty. It's kind of funny, actually. And which is especially funny because I go up into my neighbors' houses and various, my neighbor across the way or the one right above me, and their houses are so full of clutter. It's like, it makes you almost feel claustrophobic, and you think, I have almost exactly the same floor plan, the same space, and this is crazy full of stuff. So I had a bunch of stuff over there, and then it's like, you have a lot of little things that you don't want to get rid of, but they're really not all important. But then the thing about minimalism is once you do get rid of it, you have this weird freeing feeling. And if you want to get rid of something and you're just not sure, like it's a sentimental thing, take a photo. Take a photo. That's what I did. I've been lugging around my musical instrument from like high school days, right? Like, I haven't played the thing. I mean, I picked it up and blew air through it a few times, but I haven't really played the thing since 10th grade. Lugging it around all this time. I couldn't bear to get rid of it. In fact, not only did I not bear to get rid of it, but all of the stuff that was in it is all of the stuff that was in it. I didn't want to get rid of that kind of stuff. Which included a washcloth, which was a spit rack. I'm like, what's going on? And that's how crazy we are as people, that we latch onto stuff that is useless. I couldn't even sell this thing, by the way. It was too damaged. I mean, in marching band, it got either dropped or stepped on. I forget what it was. But the thing was horribly out of tune because it had dents, and it was just crazy. Not too long ago, I opened it up. I took a picture. I took a picture of everything in it, and it got heaved in the dumpster. And 2 months without that being in the house, I don't look back. I'm like, doing that kind of stuff is now motivating me to get rid of even more things that I did not want to get rid of before. And so you have this constant battle going on where the companies are trying to sell you everything you don't really need. But now you're trying not to. And I got to tell you, for whatever reason, the less stuff that you have, the less stuff you tend to accumulate. It's like, I mean, do I still buy little things here and there? Well, I'm experimenting with a few little things. And so I've picked up a few little things that I think are going to help me more in the long run. And so that is yet to see what's going to happen with that. But I really want to jump down there and just dive in. And what have I gone through? Well, I've gone through the spare bedroom closet, which was an absolute atrocious mess. It was horrible. So I got rid of the stuff in that, and I cleaned that out to the point where, I mean, I threw away. I don't know. I think it was 8 or 9 trips to the dumpster. Which, mind you, I had already cut a lot of things out of my life. So I cut a lot of things out. I went into the bedroom closet. I got rid of a lot of things in there. I got rid of a couple extra tables. I decided I didn't really need a fish tank anymore, so I got rid of that. I'm just getting rid of as much stuff as I could. And of course, if you watch my tinfoil hat time from last week, I went through all these magic cards and I sold, I think, 20,000 magic cards this week, somewhere around there. I kept a few that I wanted to keep, and that was about it. And so you get this journey going through. The one place I haven't touched yet is the kitchen, because I plan on doing a kitchen episode on the cooking channel when I have that launch, which, by the way, there is a third video on the cooking channel. The video is still unlisted, but you can find it by going to the website at homecookinghacks.com. And that's how to make homemade chili from completely fresh ingredients, no canned anything in that. So as we live our life trying to cut things back, I'm starting to question, do I need 5 pans? No, I can probably deal with 2 or 3. Do I need, why not 1? Well, there's reasons why not 1, but cutting back as much stuff as you can possibly cut back is important. I guess the next thing I want to talk about is minimalism it's not necessarily like, I watched a documentary this week, and I forget what it was called, but it was just like I don't know, like 10, I think it was 5 couples maybe. 5 couples, I think it was based in UK. 5 couples who forsook technology for a year and went out, formed a little commune, and went back to the simpler life. Or if you read Henry David Thoreau, read Walden. What did he do? He went out to the pond called Walden, which is where he got his name from, or the book's name from. He goes out to Walden. He builds his own cabin there, lives there for a couple years, working the sweat off his back. So I started looking and questioning about that kind of stuff and going, well, is that the life? Well, I don't think so. I don't think it's minimalist necessarily. It's de facto minimalist, but it casts off all of the progress we made, and we do not want to be anti-progress. Okay, but what it does do is it causes us to really start to question the things that are important, and that's what minimalism is at its core. What are the fundamentally important things in my life? And let's boil it down to those fundamentally important things. And there are times our important things are necessary. So like this room here. The reason this room is more cluttered than anything else is because this is my office. This is where I work. Not only do I do videos here, but I also do web design work. I do web hosting here. I just do a whole lot of different things in here that I just gotta get work done. And so a lot of things in here, I can see myself in a day, if I calm down some of the work that I do, I'd probably get rid of a lot of what's in here because of that alone. And so it's not just casting off all technology, but it's not all embracing all technology. Because here's the one thing that, if you haven't guessed, I like books. Hi, my name's Tom, and I like books. And people are like, well, you can fit thousands of books on a Kindle. Well, there are a couple challenges. For one, I do read some books. I've been reading a few more books on digital formats. And I can read them on digital formats, but it has a different feel. But the challenge is, with a lot of those, no, don't put them on a Kindle. Because a Kindle, you're not buying your books. You are licensing your books. If you want to buy a book that is DRM free and open source, so you can take it and you can own it. So Amazon can't pull it off your device if the licensing goes away because they're in a feud with the author. Because that's what can happen. Okay, when you buy a book on Amazon, you don't buy the book on Amazon, you buy the license to view the book on your Kindle. Now, it is entirely possible to get a book from Amazon or otherwise that is an ebook that is not locked with DRM. That is a book that you own. You can put it on any device. You can put it on a reader. You could even be unscrupulous and throw it up on the internet somewhere, but you shouldn't do that, okay? Let the authors have the proceeds of their labor, okay? I'm not talking about free doesn't cost you anything. I'm talking about free as in I can put this where I want this, and that's that difference. So minimalism questions all those things. So I am willing to get rid of almost, not every, but almost any book I have in this house. If I can find a DRM-free copy of that book, I will actually potentially pay extra for it. Now, there's some challenges. So I have here Fox's Book of Martyrs. And this book here this is the most extended copy I've ever seen. I have friends that have this book. I always pull it off the shelf to compare it. And this one here is 370 some pages, quite a bit bigger. Now, the best DRM-free ebook I can find is only about half this size. And so what I'm looking at and why this is in my office is I'm looking at what's it going to take to scan the pages and patch up the things that are missing. I don't know. So I'm experimenting with some DRM software in that respect. But for me, the minimalism is cutting back to the very basics. It's getting rid of all of the other distractions because our stuff is the biggest distraction for us. In terms of our Christian life, and I'm actually working on a book on this topic right now. I'm working on a lot of books, by the way. I'm working... Hey, no. What? Cat's being mischievous back there again. Want to come and say hi? Come on. Roar, here's the kitty. You guys missed the kitty. Here's the kitty.
Hi, everybody. I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.
All right. And so, as I question what is important and what is not important, I'm really looking at the distractions. You know, in the Christian life, the stuff distracts us from our faith. In our social life, the stuff distracts us. And our phones, they can distract us more than anything. I've seen entire relationships fall apart because of those. So that's kind of some thoughts on that. Let's have a quick look at the comments here. Okay, Kitty's taking his rightful position in the cat lap. All right. Because of the parallax of the lenses. All right. Windows 10 partition. I've nuked all the Windows Metro apps, removed Cortana, have several syncing programs, and have Classic Shell installed. Still need it for some school programs. Yeah, see, that's possible to do. And that's the thing about Windows. Like, why do you have to do all that crap just to get your operating system to not spy on you and to be able to get rid of crap that it installs that you don't want? But yeah, I mean, it is a possible thing, and there's things. I'm not saying Windows totally sucks. I'm just like, that's the reason I switched to Linux for everything that I can, is because I don't want to have to deal with that crap. You know, it's getting to the point where to get your Windows working, it takes way more time than setting up Arch. Give a touch about unlisted videos. Let me see if I can find those videos. Let's see. No, I've tried that before. Oh, you know what I can do? I can get you the unlisted videos. Hold on. Let me just go to the... All right. Well, rather than just getting you the videos, this is the link to the homepage. You can see all 3 videos that I have posted there right now. I have chili, the strawberry banana smoothie, and I have vanilla ice cream, all from Fresh Home, fresh ingredients and all those. Talking all the time isn't necessary. Are you uncomfortable yet? Cat is here to fight the alien. Yes, the cat is here to fight the alien. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Whoa, cat's gonna fall. Gotcha, kitty. No, the kitty got the alien. Kitty got the alien. I'm not sure I want to encourage that. What? Yes, you're cute. Yes, you are. Let's see. Still have my dad's engineering textbooks from a few decades ago. They're still accurate and relevant and give me inspiration as I study the same field. Awesome. And that is so true. Like, the books really haven't changed all that much over the years. A little bit, but not much. Same here from 1948. Yeah, I mean, some things have changed. Like, you know, I have my quantitative... actually, it's funny. I have a qualitative analysis textbook. They don't even teach qual anymore. What else do I got? I have my early edition of quantum mechanics from Linus Pauling. You know, those really haven't changed much. And even if it does, you know, you can build to your knowledge. Let's see. Yeah. I have a sneaky suspicion that the content in my calc book from 20 years ago is still perfectly relevant. I have a sneaky suspicion about that. So that's kind of that. Notice something, is that a 4x4 Rubik's Cube is a shelf above the alien. How the hell does one solve that? Yes, that is a 4x4. It takes about 30 minutes to solve this thing. Actually, there's two little pieces that are slightly out of whack there and there. There is one move sequence to do that in and of itself takes me about 25-30 minutes. So, but yeah, that is a 4x4. What you actually do to solve a 4x4 is you do a move sequence that's going to solve the middles as they are, and you have to build the middles. Like Rubik's Cubes. Rubik's Cubes are what is called plus yellow. So let me put this guy back in one piece. Okay. So Rubik's Cubes are what is called plus yellow. So one color, add yellow, is the opposite color of the cube. So blue, add yellow, is green, and red, add yellow, is orange. And so what you need to do is recognize that on a Rubik's Cube, the center pieces don't actually move. Everything else revolves around that. And it's not that you're just trying to get everything green over here. It's that every one of these cubes has an exact position on the cube. And so you have to solve it with that in mind. So the 4x4, what happens is you have to solve the middles because there's a move sequence you can do to push all of the middles in place. But then you have to solve the middles in such that you get the plus yellow cube added to it. And then you match up the edges, and then you actually literally solve it the same way you do the 3x3. But with this last little sequence here, where these two here are slightly out of whack, what happens is the last move sequence to push it over, I actually would need to rerun it in such a way to basically swap the positions of these four cubes. And so, yeah, I just haven't bothered taking the time to do it. So yeah, you solve it just by making it a 3x3 essentially. And actually, what you can't see. Up here, I have a 7v7, which I've never actually attempted to solve. I'm really too busy these days to mess around with new Rubik's Cubes. but yeah, I mean, I do solve the ones that are open. Let's see. Place transformers are still a thing. A lot of books cluttering your office. I just have a lot of junk. Yeah, yeah, a few books. I can't complete the third layer of a 3x3. And here's another one. I think my record for solving a Rubik's Cube is about 1.5 minutes. I don't speed cube. There's speed cubing algorithms, but I don't actually do those ones. So basically you start with a mixed up Rubik's Cube, and the first thing you want to do is just match one layer up as much as you can. And Really, I mean, it's not something I can do a full-scale tutorial on just because... Oh, wait, which one was I going for? Reds. But the last layer is certainly the most complicated of all of the layers on a Rubik's Cube, for sure. Let me do that. See if I can potentially provide any insight into what's going on. Oh, this thing's a weird happy mess. I mess up Rubik's Cubes good, apparently. All right. And then the middle layer is actually pretty easy because it's all the exact same steps, just repeating them over and over. Knowing me, I will have forgotten a step in this because I don't think I've solved a Rubik's Cube in a good several months at least. So who knows? Who knows? We might get to the bottom and I'll look like a fool because I can't solve my Rubik's Cube. Every now and again I forget move sequences. And you wouldn't believe the amount of pressure you can actually have when a camera's going on you and you're live recording something. If it was a pre-recorded video, I can stop it and reset the frame, but, you know, why would one want to do that? There you are. Have to find the middle one there. Okay, so this one here, let's see, that's good, that's good. Okay, that looks good. 2, 2, 2. And so you get that, and then I get, let's see, what do we got? I need to move one of these guys over. Okay. All right, so now you will end up with two basic patterns as you get to your last layer. That is, you will have what is called the fish, or the H, where these two cubes are out of place. You actually solve them the same way. You just start by doing that simple move sequence first, basically converting the fish to the H, because this sequence is actually going to take these two cubes and flip the two faces around. Let's see if I can remember it. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to remember it off the top of my head. Oh, wrong way. No, I got this wrong. Nope, totally wrong. I have to stop and remember that last move sequence there. I thought I had it started right, but then it was like, yeah, it went all goofy on me. Yeah, that's what I get for trying to solve a Rubik's Cube immediately in live, right? Just a little out of whack there. Let me see if I can re-recover quickly. I'm actually not too far off. It's recovering pretty quick. So obviously, yeah, the Rubik's Cubes I'm probably not going to get rid of. At least not all of them. I have... I forget exactly how many Rubik's Cubes I have, but more than I need, probably. In fact, I think I did throw some away already. What do we got? I got... Those are not right. Those are right. Alright, so 2, 2, 2. I used to know this moved backwards, which would save me a few steps, but I forget it backwards. Definitely not a record time for me. So now we're back to my fish again. I'll have to stop and remember my fish pattern. Sorry, can't help you at it on that last layer there. I just got to stop and remember it. Which I'm not going to be able to do live on a camera. So, all right, let's see. Remember when I saw Rubik's Cube for the first time, they were challenged to solve, I unscrewed it, put it all back together again. There you go. That's the way to do it. That's what I do to iPhones. Used to be books on how to solve Rubik's Cubes and contests as who's the fastest. Yeah, there's two basic ways of solving Rubik's Cube. One of those is a pattern solve, which is one I use. The other one is the speed cubing, which I've never actually studied, which would be neat, I think. I think I actually have a speed cubing book around here somewhere, but I don't know. Several solved video tutorials. Yeah, there are some solved video tutorials if you look for them. Get the videos here. Tinfoil hat time. Number 30. Aliens invented the Rubik's Cubes. Yes, they did. This left looks right. It's the Soviets. Uh-oh. I don't know who it was. All right. Let's see. Anything else I had on minimalism? Like I said, this was a totally weird tinfoil hat time here, but I guess the only other thing is regarding fighting for minimalism. I think what we have to do is we have to be a little bit more intentional with how we do things, what we let into our life, and the types of things that we are interested in pursuing. We have to get to that point where we realize that a lot of the marketing factors in America are based on separating us from our money, but we need to remember that we need to focus only on what is important. And if we dump a whole lot of money into a whole lot of things that really aren't important, we get this buyer's euphoria, this dopamine kick when we buy something, like an addiction. And then what happens is it becomes harder and harder for us to find satisfaction in all of these things that we have. And so we fill up storage garages and the garages on our houses and our basements and our attics with useless crap. And we get to the end of our life and go, what is up with all this useless crap? That's just kind of the way it goes. So that's kind of what I have to say about that at this point in time. So this week is going to be a weird week. Of course, we have the 4th of July here in the United States. So technically Tuesday's a holiday. I'm not completely certain if I'm going to do a video or not that day. I might. I don't know. I have to decide that. And then we're going to try and do a top 10 tomorrow. Wednesday, probably do some type of live stream on a pinpointing one news article. I'm going to do some WordPress and GIMP tutorials, and then back to news on Friday, outdoor philosophy Saturday, and we'll see what happens from there. All right, Thirsty Fox has a pro tip. Minimalism should also be implemented in your digital life. Yeah, I didn't really talk about that. Let's talk about that for a little while. 'Cause that's one of the things I'm working on, which I guess here's another point about if you're trying to convert your life to minimalism, you will end up with weird stacks of weird crap you're trying to figure out what to do with. So like right beyond this door right here, where's the view? This is a door. A door has a little thing called a hand. No, wait, hold on. We're beyond that, aren't we? So beyond this door, I still have some tapes, some pictures, a lot of other CDs, just a lot of things I'm still trying to figure out exactly how to deal with them in the scope of minimalism. And so I'm trying to figure out what I need to do. But in the process of getting ready to do this, I'm getting bloated piles of digital stuff and physical stuff all over. And so the comment here on excessive apps, if you do not utilize a certain app on your phone, get rid of it. It probably is spying on you. And so a lot of the same stuff can be said for a lot of different apps and a lot of different music files. A big downside that I see to the phones, like if I look on this and I go into my photo library here, I have a whole lot of pictures in here, and the challenge is I used to go out with a traditional camera like this one here. This camera here, by the way, is for sale on Craigslist. It works great. I actually just took it out with me. I went whitewater rafting a couple weeks ago, and I took this with me to take pictures because if I dropped it in the river, I wouldn't care because it's the camera for sale. I have a better one. But anyway, if you want a camera, it's for sale. It works great. So I used it, snapped some photos, and so I have my little camera card in here. And I used to go out and I'd take a bunch of photos because I just pretty much did everything with a real camera. And then you get in at the end of the day and you take your card out, you slip it into your computer, and then I would just put it on a file on my computer. File folder with the date, I'd do categories, and then here's the date, and then dump in the pictures, and then I would clear out the card. And then the camera would sit here open with an empty card sitting on the shelf. So next time I went out and had an adventure, I would take the camera with me. Now the danger is, the last time I really did stuff like that was back in like 2012, or was it 2010? I forget. It might have been 2010. And then it was like 2011 or so is when I got a smartphone. And the problem we have with a smartphone is we just accumulate pictures and pictures and pictures and pictures. And every time you plug this into your computer to get the pictures off, you're taking duplicate files of pictures again and again and again and again. And if I plug this in and I have an automatic picture syncing app, no matter what OS I'm on, including Linux, every time I plug this phone into a Linux computer, the thing pops up, hey, would you like to import the photos? Well, if I hit yes, I'm going to get another folder of the same pictures over and over and over and over. And we have to figure out how to narrow that down. So part of my digital minimalism, when I get there, and I'm not on digital minimalism yet, which is why there's still a bunch of pictures on here, is going to be literally, I'm going to store 1 or 2 photos I want to store on this phone. I will have no other pictures. I will have a backup of every contact on my Ubuntu Mate computer. All of my photos will be perfectly organized, and I will... Now, we don't just want one copy. You want redundancy in your copy, but I don't need massive, excessive redundancy. What I need is, this is my backup copy, and here is the backup of my backup. So we need intentional redundancy, not automatic redundancy. We're downloading the same pictures to the computer 87 times because I plugged in the computer 87 times. There's some pictures I have on there for 2 years ago. And so keeping things down in that respect is certainly a thing. Because here's the thing about minimalism is, as I really started to take minimalism deeply seriously, the level of stress it relieves from your life. Imagine your life if you know even all your digital files, you have a complete backup of all your digital files. You have a complete backup of everything that you need. Everywhere. All of this stuff is all backup stuff. Everything's gone. You will have a lot less of a freak show if you accidentally drop your phone in your toilet. You're like, well, crap, that sucked. But you haven't lost data, you haven't lost memories, and you haven't had to utilize a cloud account giving all your rights away. Ever notice, there's a big thing in the news, AT&T's been fighting over this binding arbitration. They finally came back and said, well, you don't have to use AT&T. That's your answer? Yeah. So I want to do this stuff without having cloud accounts. Do cloud accounts make things technically easier? Yes. But I don't want a cloud account. No, not at all. Oh boy, I have to ask nicely for no bloatware. 4th of July, launch an alien back to Mars with a firework. I don't want to do that. I like my aliens. Oh boy. What do you mean he's going to wipe out Facebook? I'm curious. I'm hopefully he's not wiping out Facebook like permanently, because I don't want Brian Lunduke to go to jail or anything. But if you want to talk about how to do it for you personally, he's dead, Jim. Yeah, all the computers in my office except for the one that my main development computer, which I need to link into Facebooky stuff for clients. I actually don't let my regular Facebook account know where that is. My cubes can access Facebook on one cube. I think my Mac can access it. I haven't blocked it just because I do client work on the Mac. Other than that, my computers block Facebook. So if you are on Linux Mint, the best way to get rid of Facebook is there is a domain blocker. And what you do inside the domain blocker, well, you have to enter your password here. And then in your domain blocker, you just add the domain you want to block. Now, what this actually does is it edits the host file. This is actually the way I usually do it. So here's your host file. So anything here on your host file will be blocked. So what you'll see is these guys here, these entries here with the asterisk blocked by Mint Nanny, these were added by the domain blockers. And I can add other instances in here as well. And so I have blocked Facebook completely from all the computers on my network, except for the ones that specifically need to use Facebook for those things. So that's kind of how you do that if you want to know how to do that right now. I'm not sure if that's what he's going to show you how to do, but that's pretty easy. Of course, just 120.0.0.1 space facebook.com, 120.0.0.1 space www dot whatever is there. Okay. SH file, send everyone on Facebook a tinfoil hat time ad. Nice. Probably not going to work, but I'm going to try it anyway for science. Don't include me in your craziness. Or maybe include me. I don't know. I have nothing to do with it, sir. 3, 2, 1, backup system. 3 copies, 2 copies with a different medium, and 1 out of sight. Yes, what I'm actually looking at doing right now is a post office box. Or not a post office box, a safety deposit box at a bank is a great place, like $70 a year or something for my town. Actually, I think I get one as cheap as $40 a year per year, and that will enable me a big enough thing that I can drop a few backup drives in there. And what I would do then is I would have 2 backup drives once a month, because I do full system backups as one specific time in the month. And then what I would do is do all those backups, take the drive to the bank, drop it off, bring the other one back, and do another backup. So I'll always have a offline local backup and an offline offsite backup. And the bad aliens that watch you sleep and abduct people. Uh-oh. Don't launch the good aliens. ETs stay home. So a friend of mine today showed me a video, a series of videos on YouTube that is called Totally Obsessed, I believe. And it was totally awesome. There was a guy that he clearly has social problems. And what he ended up doing is, let's see, where are we at? Is it Totally Obsessed, I think? Yep. There is a guy who has dedicated his entire life to E.T. And so, let me find his E.T. room here. There you go. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and do that. That's already queued up. All right, so this guy here is so totally obsessed with E.T. that he has an entire apartment that he rented that is dedicated to E.T. And so he even opens it up and he dresses in Elliot's red sweater jacket with, it has to be a BMX bike with little ETs, and they do drills driving down the city street with ETs in their bikes. So, yeah. In other news, totally going to delete his ID. Sweet. I am going to have to watch that. Oh, by the way, if you really want to watch some hoots, we watched a few of these. All these people are totally crazy, should probably be in mental institutions. But hey, and actually this is one of the things that got me to thinking about minimalism is in commerce and things, because every one of these things is all based on and driven by the marketing machine. Okay? This person is so obsessed with Lord of the Rings, she has these cardboard cutouts and she takes them to dinner with her in restaurants. This person here is borrows money on personal loans to buy Ninja Turtle things. This person is a 50-year-old who custom sews his own Peter Pan things and spends 15 hours a week doing his Peter Pan dances and always being a child. This guy here trains his kids in how to be super spy agents. This guy here runs around in his car with a megaphone screaming at people to scream Pac-Man. He is obsessed with Pac-Man. I didn't watch Catwoman. Oh, these people here, despite having their own kids, actually treat this Cabbage Patch doll. Remember in the Cabbage Patch dolls, you used to adopt them? They adopted a Cabbage Patch Kid doll, and the Cabbage Patch Kid got to do a whole lot more things than their real child got to do in her life. Didn't watch that one. Okay, this person here is so crazy. She excludes everything that's not pink out of her life, including dyeing her cat pink with Kool-Aid and red food coloring. My kitty is scared. Oh, I've got to have to watch this Dukes of Hazzard one. Oh, and this guy here. This guy here is a particular breed of crazy. He spends his free time dressing up cockroaches as celebrities. Real cockroaches, yes. So, I am taking applications to join the reptilian alien race. If anyone would like to leave the humans behind, let me know. I think these people are suffering from OCD. I'm thinking you're guessing. I would probably say actually, yeah. Hoarding is OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. Hoarding is an OCD. This type of behavior is clearly OCD. But you know, in fact, what's really scary is this one here, this Lord of the Rings woman. She actually has young children, and like, where's the scene? She takes them all to a restaurant here. Oh, she's playing Duck, Duck, Go. She was playing Duck, Duck, Go with her cardboard cutouts. So she goes to the family, and this is a family outing at a restaurant. She is here. Her husband is over here. Her daughter is here. This is the good golem, and this one here that you can't see is the evil golem. And she, not only does she bring these and act out there talking, but she also orders them food. Yeah. Yeah. See, be a minimalist, or this might happen to you. I think we're going to wrap it up here now. We're at the bottom of the comments. We're at the bottom of my content. We're about an hour long, and I think I'm going to go and enjoy the rest of my Sunday evening. Get myself caught back up and stuff. Wow. But, hey, if you're looking for something to watch, go check out this guy. Ruprecht is his channel. Just type in Totally Obsessed there on YouTube. This Lord of the Rings one is particularly creepy. That cockroach guy is particularly creepy. And I think right now I'm going to try and find that other one I was looking at. I want to go watch this Dukes of Hazzard guy. That sounds fun. All right, guys. Well, I think I have a kitty that's over here being a good kitty, and I like giving him some good kitty treats at the end of tinfoil hat times. So we are going to go ahead and do that and then wrap it on up. Let me find my kitty can here, and then Get my kitty cam set up. Make sure my kitty's on it. All right, so we're going to feed the kitties and wrap it up. So good night, folks. No, that's my finger. Good night, everybody. Have a happy Sunday.